What we see before us is a unique and spectacular marvel of nature. Two rival tribes of 8 middle-aged males are locked in a territorial battle to the death.
Jokes aside now, what happens when there's 16 people all taking split-second decisions based on actions unfolding around them? Well, for some observers it's chaos. In fact, many of the participants themselves aren't really able to process and react to the speed of information that's on show. For this reason, combat in Dark Age typically gets more complex as you approach the group cap of 8. 8v8 can therefore be difficult to begin for those unfamiliar, and for others who sometimes attempt it, can often see a fight slowly slipping away from them, but can't identify those pivotal moments. So, with that in mind, today we'll try to look at the anatomy of 8v8 through a helpful example.
They're gonna go up, guys, we're good.
Oh, where are we going?
Well, this way we're going now.
We're going now. I'm slammed off, no shields. Oh my god. Taylor, is Tion Taylor?
We have some. Cheesy, you're out of range. I got Messi slammed. Okay. Maybe we can like target.
That was a lot going on inside 30 seconds. Did you catch it all? Let's break it down further into phases. To begin with, we're on EV with another hip group incoming. For whatever reason, our group is split and out of position, and what presents a particular issue is that 3 casters are way out of position and about to get caught. This is especially problematic when you consider the group composition we have here. It's a 4-caster body debuff setup with a Blade Master for slam and peels. This makes for a particularly weak front line of just a BM and a Bard, which needs to be augmented by the Animist's Tanglers. With 4-casters, their strategy will always be to land crowd control, make space, and pull targets away from their support. Getting caught at the start of the fight without these conditions set up the worst case scenario that we're seeing unfold in front of us. As we progress the clip, we see the full extent of the casters getting caught. The Animist is lucky to escape, but the Mentalist and Banshee are mezzed. By this point, the composition of the enemy group is becoming clearer, with it being a 4-tank, 4-support melee group, making the start of this fight even worse. The Bard now has 3 immediate issues. He needs to demez the caught casters, which will compromise his position, break the speed of the enemy tanks before they can get too deep into his backline, and finally simultaneously try to win the CC battle versus their 4 support who are flying in. All this happens within a few seconds. He does all of this successfully, apart from eating a root from the Druid, which is luckily broken by the Bard's DD. That short passage of play almost entirely bailed his group out, however one huge problem remains. The Banshee was caught by an enemy tank, and is now taking heavy damage from 1 tank, whilst the 3 other tanks interrupts the Bard's back line. SOS is used to fix that issue, and now the recovery can properly begin. With distance achieved, the Bard's role now reverts back to interrupting support, whilst his backline does damage to the enemy tanks. The SOS he used to help the Banshee can now help himself to flank enemy support, whilst they're pressured by dealing with damage coming onto their tank. Unfortunately, you see a root break mez on the blue coloured Bard, which in a longer, closer fight would probably be a big deal. However, once you see the red Bard gets mezzed, most of his focus is on interrupting the blue Bard to make sure a demez can't be cast. With no root or mez immunity and facing 2 enemy Bards, typically you would see better counter CC here, but to be fair, the fight is already over with the 2 enemy tanks dead. This fight lasts for 2 minutes, however ultimately the fight was recovered and probably won from the Bard's actions in the first 20 seconds. I deliberately picked a clip here that featured relatively casual 8v8 pickup groups, as I wanted to highlight that lots of new 8v8 players have been getting involved throughout the Season 2 beta, and therefore ultimately the purpose of this video is to hopefully show some other players that 8v8 can be approachable and fun once you take the time to stop and understand the wonderful game that we all enjoy.